left my updated bio in my car, so a little update. Sasha the rabbit is no longer with us.
Oh.
Let's have a moment of silence. Okay, that's long enough. So, a quick thing. The rabbit was in my little girl's room, and for a while the electricity kept going out. We didn't know what the problem. We finally had an electrician out. He'd been peeing against the wall, and it dripped into the electric socket, so no more rabbits. Anyway, I have a lot to cover today. I want to talk to you guys about malware, the 10 faces of malware. I'm sure you've heard terms like worms, Trojan horse, malware, rootkits. What are these things? It can be pretty confusing. So without any further ado, I subscribe to several publications, security magazines and online magazines, and Tech Republic is one of the best. And this is one of the best little presentations that I've ever seen about malware. So I just decided to bring it and share it with you guys. And when I'm done, if anybody wants a copy of it, email me and I'll shoot it to you. So what is computer malware? Some terms: malware is malicious software that's designed to infiltrate or cause change or damage to computer systems. Mal code is the programming code that they use to create these things. And anti-malware is programs like antivirus software, anti-malware programs to try to get rid of these things. One important thing to remember about malware is, like its biological counterpart, the real virus, the #1 goal is reproduction. If it doesn't get to reproduce, it just dies. It doesn't do any good. So, slide. So the infamous computer virus. The computer virus is malware that's capable of infecting a computer, but it has to rely on other means to propagate. It can't just go from one machine to the other without some help from you. It could be get to a non-infected computer by attaching to some form of executable code that's passed between two computers, like a hidden PDF file or an email message, or maybe a little thumb drive that you take from one machine to the other. It's got parts to it, a replicator. When the host program is activated, so is the virus. Activated means clicking on something, on a link and executing something. There's the concealer part that actually hides the virus, tries to hide it from other antivirus software and things of that nature. And then there's the payload that actually does the damage, whether erasing files or trying to gather information. Nowadays it's about getting information, getting into your email address book and sending itself out to other people. Some of the names are nuts, like the W32 sends A, W32 Sality. The crazy thing is the computer antivirus companies like McAfee and Norton, they give the same computer viruses different names, so it's really tricky to track down. Right? Now, computer worm are more sophisticated than viruses. They are able to propagate on their own. So if you're in a company with a network, or if you've got 3 or 4 machines networked together, and people tend to share everything because they don't know how to be really specific, these computer viruses can actually look for vulnerabilities and travel from computer to computer through a network. So they have what's called the penetration tool, is the part that takes advantages of the vulnerabilities. The installer is the penetration tool, gets the computer worm past the initial defense. If you don't have your Adobe updated, things like that, if you haven't updated your Windows updates from Microsoft or things of that nature. So these updates are important because these updates are specifically designed to close these holes. The discovery tool, how the computer worm goes out and finds places that it can get to. The scanner uses the scanner to determine if there's any vulnerabilities on the computer. And then, of course, the payload again, which will go out and do whatever it's designed to do. And you can see down here, since 1988. So we're not talking about anything new. Okay. The unknown backdoor, they're similar to remote access programs. They're considered malware because they do stuff without you being aware of it. An attacker can actually gain control of your computer and do stuff in the background, and you have no idea. You don't see a mouse moving around. Maybe your computer might be acting a little slow or something of that nature. Again, they use to exploit vulnerabilities, not being updated, things like that. Another approach is to trick the user into installing the backdoor. A real quick thing. I have to make payments to the state for taxes, okay? I got an email yesterday saying your federal payments have been rejected. And I'm looking at it, and it's very generic, you know, and I'm just looking, go, this just doesn't sound right. You know, and then I noticed it was addressed to somebody in my address book. And I think what it was is he got infected, and it got sent to me. So things of that nature. And some of the names here, you look sub-7, net bus, deep throat, back orifice. These guys are pretty creative with their names. And these are backdoors that have gained notoriety. The back orifice was a backdoor that took down companies a couple of years ago. I remember Universal Studios had to take all their entire network off the internet for a couple hours to clean things up. Trojan horse, just kind of like what we know about it in history. It's difficult to come up with a better definition, Trojan horse malware, than what these guys did. A Trojan horse is a program that appears to have some useful or benign purpose, but really masks some hidden malicious functionality. It's like in history when, I don't even know, was it Romans, or who brought the Trojan horse in? Remember all the soldiers were hidden in the horse, and they brought it in as a gift? Right, and then, and then at night, the guys came out and killed everyone in the camps and did their damage. It's the exact same thing. Trojan horse malware cloaks the destructive payload during installation, and it prevents anti-malware from recognizing the code. Some of the concealment techniques are renaming the malware to resemble files that are normally present, corrupting installed anti-malware by causing it not to respond. Polymorphic means that it can change. So when you get your updates from Norton or Symantec, your computer virus signature updates, those signatures are designed to recognize certain patterns that viruses create. This polymorphic means that these viruses can change their pattern. So all of a sudden that signature is no good. Okay? And I think, oh God, what was the name? The Conficker virus, so you guys remember hearing about that like last year? That was absolutely amazing. Whoever wrote this was brilliant. He wrote his code, and I say this from a standpoint of a person like this guy knew what he was doing. Normally, when I want to find some bad viruses and stuff, I'll go look at the dates that some files end up on a machine. This guy made all his files have the exact dates that the original Microsoft files have. So, all right, let's go. Adware and spyware, they're just things to show up ads and things like that, and spyware. I haven't got time, so let's go. I want to get to, rootkits. Now we're talking about combining the best features of all these things together. So the best features of a Trojan horse with the best features of a worm with the best features of a virus. Okay? And it's called this malware stew, and they're called rootkits. Slide. Rootkits are in a class of their own, choosing to modify the existing operating system. That means changing your Windows XP. Instead of adding software at the application level, most malware, it makes detection by anti-malware that more difficult, if not impossible. And there's several types of rootkits, but 3 make up the vast majority. Let's go ahead. There's user mode rootkits. They can alter processes, files, system drivers, network ports. User mode rootkits remain installed by copying required files to a hard drive and automatically launching them with every boot. And I use this Mark Rasinovich, who's a great person. Slide. And then there's kernel mode rootkits. It means the rootkit's installed at the same level as the operating system, and that's deep down where antivirus cannot get one. I have to admit, my own machine from home is at my office right now. I have a rootkit, don't know how it happens, and I'm having a hard time getting rid of it. So, you know, it happens to me. People say, what, you get something? Yeah, I just don't have to take it to another computer guy. It's like, you know, Mark's car never has problems, but he knows how to fix it himself. It happens. Next slide. Firmware rootkits are rootkits that are actually embedded in hardware, things that you might buy or components that get installed in a computer. Next one, malicious code. And we'll go to the last slide. Blended threat is ultimate, and that's the kind of things that we're starting to see. Those are the kinds of things that cyber terrorism from other countries use. That's what they use to, when they, what worm was it that was used to do the Iran, anyway, those, yes, Stuxnet. So that's a very quick overview of some of the threats out there that I deal with on a daily basis and how they've evolved and how they are evolving. So if you have any questions, ask me afterwards or send me an email. And if you want to copy this slide, email me and I'll send it to you. Thank you very much.